Good evening. Look how I look tonight. Oh my Lord. I thought I had my hat with me, but I just brought my coat because I was going to listen to my audiobook. Please excuse my hair. And please excuse my dirty shirt. And I have been down in the basement cleaning. And let me tell you what I've been going through today. Look at this swoop up, dude. You guys don't care, I know. I know because I was filming videos earlier and I didn't charge my battery, so I know this won't last forever. So I'll film some and then I'll charge my battery and come back because it's really early. It's 7:42. And I think my husband is asleep, maybe for the night. He was a little hungover today. He was, and it was funny because, I mean, it wasn't like he drank that much last night, but he and his mom and brother, they went to this restaurant and it's like, they have like special margaritas or something, and he was like, oh my God, every time I drink these sugary margaritas, I always get a hangover. And we were at brunch, so we went to brunch today, and he got a Coke, and he always gets like a cup of coffee. He never gets a Coke. Hold on, please don't stop. And so I said to him, I go, you never get a Coke unless you're hungover or we're at a Mexican restaurant. He goes, yeah, I'm not feeling very good this morning. I go, well, but you didn't seem like you had drank a whole lot last night. He goes, no, I didn't. He goes, but I had these 2 margaritas, and he's like, my head is just pounding this morning from these margaritas. So anyway, he may be asleep early today. He's like, I am just so tired today. And he finished up Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and then he was like watching something else. I don't know. He was gonna watch Dumplin' because he was like, you said it was really good. I said, it's really good. I said, if you want me to watch it again with you, I'll watch it, because I really think I want to watch Dumplin' again because it was so good. I'm like so taken with that movie. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Somebody reached out to me though and was like about doing something. It's, I don't know, some kind of video to do with the book and the movie. So until I do like I was gonna do a review of it on my review channel, but until I hear back from them, I don't have any idea what they're proposing. So until they do, I'm gonna wait on that one. But anyway, but go watch Dumplin', it's fantastic. So anyway, we got up today and we went to brunch, and had a great brunch. Only ate my omelet and half of my bagel, and I hardly ate any of my potatoes. I did bring all of it home though this time, because I thought Alex might want to eat it later, or I might want to eat it later, I don't know. So yeah, so that was that. And then afterwards, we had fun, and he like ran into like a girlfriend that he knew from like a long time ago. He always says to me, he was like, I'm like, who is that? And he was like, you know her, you've met her. Like, I'm like, I don't remember some of these people that we've met, like out at a bar 8 years ago one time. Like, I just don't. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. And so anyway, afterwards, I wanted to go to Lush because I am out of the cup of coffee face mask. But I didn't want to go in there because I knew that I would end up buying a shit ton of stuff. And whenever we go in there, I say to Alex, I'm like, just pick out some things you want. I'll give you whatever you want. And so he got a couple things, and I ended up spending more money, like a lot more money than I wanted to spend in Lush. I was going to show it on here. Maybe I'll do it in my vlog tomorrow, because I don't want to record at home while he's asleep. But I'm trying to think of what I got. I got the cup of coffee face mask, and then I wanted to buy this shaving cream, and it's called Prince. It smells really delicious. So if you're wanting to buy your husband, boyfriend, dad, whatever, or even I guess you, but it has a very masculine scent to it. Shaving cream. It's called Prince, but it's like $22 for like a medium. I don't usually buy the small sizes at Lush because I go through them so quickly that I always usually buy the medium. I don't buy the large. Look at that. Although, I will tell you, the cup of coffee face mask, I did buy the large this time because I was like, I use it so much. And so I got that. I did not get the shaving cream because I was like, I have all of those shaving creams from the Art of Shaving. I'm not, until I've gone through those, I'm not going to buy another. I don't need to have 4 different kinds of shaving cream, you know? Because right now I'm kind of like, I use one and whatever. And it was so funny because in my review channel video, when I did it, I said the Kingsman one, I was like, don't buy it, it's not my favorite. And now I've been using that the last couple days. And I've kind of like really started liking it. Do you ever like use a product and you don't like it at first? I didn't like the smell of it. And there's something about the smell now, like since I started using it, that I like a little bit better. So, I don't know. But anyway, what was I gonna say? It's still not my favorite. My favorite is the sandalwood. It is fantastic. Well, the bergamot is my favorite, but I only have a small container of that. The sandalwood is so delicious smelling. So we went to Lush, and I'm trying to think of what else I bought. They have shower bombs now there at Lush. So we bought 2 shower bombs. Oh my God. You know the Sleepy lotion that I have? They have Sleepy shower gel. I bought Sleepy shower gel. I actually did buy a big size of that. And I can't remember what Alex got. He got some kind of lotion. And then we got a bunch of samples too. He got 2 samples. He knew somebody that worked in there. He got 2 samples of face masks, like face cleanser things. And one's a face mask, another one's like a cleanser that he wants to try. So he got those, and yeah. Oh, I got fair traded honey shampoo too, because that's my favorite shampoo from Lush. And then we walked down to Abercrombie, which is on the other side of the mall, and walked in there. Alex is like fallen in love with Abercrombie again. To me, it looks exactly, he's like, they have all kinds of new stuff. It's like they rebranded. And I walked in, and there were some things I thought were really cute there. They have like this puffy coat, like my Ralph Lauren one that I got, and it was like red plaid. It was adorable. And he goes, it's 50% off, and it was 50% off of $220. I was like, yeah, it's still $110. I don't need that for 2 more months. I mean, it's not going to be that cold until March, you know? I said I already have 2 coats. I don't need more than 2 coats. But, I mean, I have a lot of coats in my closet. I just don't wear them, and most of them don't fit right now. But when I get into shape, they're going to fit. And then, so we walked around there, and then we went down to Sephora because I wanted to get one of those. Have you seen those bubble masks? I really want to get one of those bubble masks and try it on my review channel. But they didn't have them. Like the ones that really like bubble up. And the woman in the store was really nice. And she was like, I think you have to order it online. I was like, you don't think that Ulta has it? And she goes, well, they have some stuff that we don't have. And I said, I wanted to say, yeah, like every palette in the world, because you guys don't carry any of these. I'm like, I used to love Sephora, and now I'm kind of falling in love with Ulta, actually. Ulta just seems to have a broader range of things that I like. So I don't know. But anyway, and then we came back and we ran into a friend of ours, and it was interesting because, well, Alex knew her because he used to work with her, but then she was also really good friends with the guy that I knew that passed away a couple years ago from meningitis. I've talked about him on here before, that he was like a really good friend of mine. And so we talked to her for a little bit, and her husband, and it was like small town at the mall today. It was like we kept on running into all these people that we like knew. And then what other stores did we go into? And then Alex saw somebody else that he knew. And that was it. And then we went home. And I filmed a couple videos. I wanted to film more, but I was gonna read like this book on my booktube video, like this children's book, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm gonna try to find it, and I'm gonna try to, because it's kind of a funny book. I did a video on my booktube video years ago. It's like one of my favorite, like probably the first year that I started it. It's probably one of my favorite videos I ever did on there, and it was me reading the children's book, The Lonely Doll. She had everything she always wanted, but she was very lonely. It's like one of my favorite children's books when I was a kid. Anyway, I'm trying to make sure that the camera is not like going out of focus. I hate when it does that. And I'm gonna take a shower later and do all of my new Lush products, which I'm very excited about. And then, yeah, I filmed the videos, and then he went upstairs and he was watching Sabrina. And he was supposed to go hang out with his friends tonight, and he was like, I'm just not in the mood to do that tonight at all. He was like, I just want to stay in bed with the dogs and not do anything. So that was pretty much our day, and he has an early start tomorrow, and I have my training at noon, which I got my reminder text for, and I was like, oh my God. Which, I mean, I remembered that I had it tomorrow, but I need to get more pumped up and excited about these training sessions. I promised him, I said, now next week when this is what I said last week, I said, what, next Monday when I come in, I swear, I still have my coffee actually from brunch today, but I said next week when I come in, I know, random, right? I was like, next week when I come in, I am going to be rested and ready to go. And he goes, okay, that would be good. We'll see what time I go to bed. I'm so close to finishing Harry Potter that I'm like, I want to finish it tonight. And when I got home last night, I watched a little bit more of the Christmas Chronicles. God, I used to back in the day, like, well, Dumplin' I did watch straight through, but back in the day, I don't know what that was, I would, I could just like watch like 2 movies back to back in a day, but I just don't, I can't sit there long enough to do that, so I watched like 20 more minutes of it. It's a cute movie. It's not what I expected at all. And it totally does remind me of Adventures in Babysitting. But, let's see, what else? So yeah, so I finished the videos and I was uploading them. And then I filmed one for my Peterisms video, and I filmed one for my main channel video, or the Peter Monn channel. And then my vlog, I just put up before I left. And what else did I do? Oh, and so then I was in the basement while I was like uploading the videos because it was taking forever to render them. And I started going through I just pulled out these plastic boxes that my mom had like way in the back, and I started going through them, and they're all Christmas ornaments from when I was growing up as a kid. And I had to just start going through them because like a lot of them are just like not in good condition, and just start throwing stuff out. But it was really hard. Like, I mean, these were ornaments that we like literally, my mom would, you know, she used the entire time that I was growing up. So, you know, and into my adulthood. So till I was 36 years old, these are ornaments that she put on her tree. And I was having such a hard time. So I was like going through them. I was like, all the pine cones, I just was like throwing away. And, just, you know, garland and stuff that I knew that I would never use. It's so old that it's like, you know, fake garland that has like needles missing from it and stuff like that. And I don't know. Today was not as easy a day for me to go through stuff and just like throw it out. There were some days that are easier than others. I don't know why, but today was a little bit harder. And then the last box that I came to, and these boxes are so like dirty. There's like dust and like stuff all over them. And the last box was like all of this teaching stuff of my mom's from back in the day, like when she taught, and it's like papers and lesson plans and stuff. And I was just like, I'm just gonna throw all this out. And the box is like, it's so heavy that I'm like, oh my God, I just need to get a trash bag and just literally like dump the whole thing in there. And but we like only have these trash bags that are small for the kitchen. I had like 2 big ones left, and they're full of trash down in the basement that I've gone through. So now I have to go get more trash bags. Sometime later tonight, probably I'll get those, so that I can get that stuff done. I'm like trying to get everything over into this one corner where we have a couch, and it's like all memory stuff, like my pictures and all that kind of stuff. And then like I still have, like I said, the record albums and the DVDs. And but I want like everything over in that corner, because once I get everything over to that corner, then I can just sit on the couch and I can just like go through the memory stuff and decide what I'm going to keep and what I'm not. And it'll be easier, you know. And then all of the books that I went through, I literally probably still have, oh God, easily like 50 to 100, I'm not, no lie, 50 to 100 books, probably even more like 100, that are all on this like desk that I have in the basement where I used to do my UNAC live streams last winter. And they're all just sitting on that table, and those are like my maybes. And I need to go through all the maybes and box those up. Once I get all the other books done, I'm gonna go through those and do my maybes. So yeah. I'm feeling good about getting that stuff done though. The problem is our basement isn't really well lit either, and so like as I get further back in this one corner, it's literally like dark and I can't really see stuff, so I have to like pick up a box and bring it out. And so I need to go back there and get that stuff out. And it's like there's like a crawl space that goes like underneath the stairs from the inside of the basement, and like my mom has stuff underneath there, and I have no clue what it is. It's just like she has like some boxes like pushed way back in there. God, can you imagine like what I might pull out of there? There might be something really valuable back there. That would be crazy. Would that not be totally crazy? When all this time somebody told me that I had something really valuable in my basement that was sitting underneath the stairs in a box. But I went underneath there with a flashlight one time. I don't think that's the case. But I don't know. Like, there's stuff stuffed way back underneath there that I've never gotten to before. So, this is not my first time cleaning out the basement. Like, I cleaned it out one time before, and like we got a lot of it done. But when we redid the flooring, we took like a lot of stuff that was upstairs, we brought it down the basement. I literally just threw it on top of all this stuff, and that's a lot of what I'm going through right now. And we have also like not cleaned out we have like a walk-in closet in our bathroom, and we had not cleaned that out, and so I have since cleaned that out, and it had all kinds of crap up in there, and so I threw in boxes and just put down there. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff that I'm going through too. It's also like, and I don't know, like I said last night, I mean, I'm kind of the person that's like, I want to look this stuff up on eBay, and I'm sure it's none of it worth anything, but like I'm also I was going to just repeat what I just said. I'm also the person that wants to look stuff up on eBay. But I have like a box of like all of my mom's dolls from when she was growing up, and they're literally like glass dolls and stuff. They're very creepy. I know my cousin threw out all of my aunts because I was like, Caroline, those might be worth something. She's like, they're not worth anything, they're junk, and she just threw them straight out. And I also have this, like I have like these cigarette cases that my mom and my aunt both had that were matching. They literally are like those ones that, you know, like they carried in like the 40s and 50s, like in movies, like Bette Davis. And like, they're like a cigarette case, like a, you know, like a silver cigarette case that you like open and you can keep like 10 cigarettes in, and then you like close, but then there's like a lighter built into it. They're very cool. But I know those aren't worth anything because I looked them up one time, and, but those are things I might keep. I think those are actually, I think my mom's, I have like 2 of them. So I think one of them might have been my aunt's, or my mom had 2 of them or something. Because they were actually, my mom had them in the boxes that she got them from the jewelry store. And one of them I kept, and it's like in this box of all my mom's stuff. I'm so ready to get that basement done. Like, I'm so over it at this point. And I was talking to Alex, I was like, I don't know what to do with this drafting table and this tree and this huge lamp that I have down there and stuff. And he's like, well, I think that we can put all that stuff in the garage. And he was like, then I think that we can call like AMVETS or somebody, and they'll come and just like pick it all up. If it's still like usable stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I've got to put all that stuff together, and then, I don't know, maybe have them come and pick it up or something, you know what I mean, get rid of it. And then I have a whole bookcase that's like this in one side of the wall, and it has like games and books and stuff, and I always forget about that because it's like over in another part of the basement, and I have to go through all of that too. And it's like not all the games from when I was growing up as a kid, but it's some of the games, it's like random games I don't know why my mom kept. Like, some of them don't mean anything to me, and I'm sure like all of them have missing parts and stuff to them. So yeah, there's that. I had all of the Fisher-Price toys when I was growing up, like all the little people and the little houses and little cars. I had all that stuff, but I know my mom gave that stuff to David when he was really little, and he played with it, and Caroline has all that kind of stuff now, and I don't care about all that. As I get more stuff cleaned out and I look at it, it's like I can imagine what the basement is going to look like empty, you know what I mean? And it kind of gives me this really good feeling inside to be able to get like all that stuff out and just be like, okay, like cleansed, you know? And I'm excited about that. And obviously we're going to have a couple boxes where we keep some stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get rid of everything. And I thought, well, I will keep a box of, like, some of the ornaments, some of the Christmas stuff that means a lot to me. And, but then I'm like, why if I'm not going to use it? Like, that's the other part of me is like, I'm like, if you're not going to use it, why keep it, you know? Like, I have this, like, Snoopy, like, big Snoopy stuffed animal that was, like, in a box of Christmas stuff that I remember my mom used to put out in the rocking chair that I was going to give to Sebastian. And he has, like, he's, like, in a Santa outfit, like, Santa Claus outfit with a hat and everything. And, I, like, put him back in the box, like I was going to keep him. I was like, why? It's not like you're going to put the, I mean, are you going to put it out? Like, if you're not going to put it out and decorate with it, why keep it, you know? But I did find, I have Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, a little Christmas tree, that I'm going to put up somewhere in the house. I don't know where yet. How are you guys doing today? Are you having a good, well, today's your Monday, so you're probably back to work. Look at the streaks on my window again. Oh, I might vlog for a little while, then go home and take a little nap, since it's still kind of early. And then listen to Harry Potter. I'd love to try to finish it tonight, but I don't know that that's gonna, I mean, I'm almost done with it, but I'm not that close to being done with it. I was looking at the Christmas books that I downloaded, and a couple people had recommended me more too. So I have a couple more that I want to, like, look at the bookstore or get on Audible, and they're all really short. They're all, like, less than, like, 6 hours on Audible, the ones I got. And I think the Augustin Burroughs one is, like, 5 hours. I think the David Sedaris one is, like, 4 hours, which I listened to all that stuff at 2 times, so it's, like, 2.5 hours, you know, 2 hours. I mean, those are literally, like, books I can listen to, like, in a day, you know? One of the things that's going to be really hard for me to go through and get rid of is the pictures. I have so many pictures. I don't really know what to do with them. Like, I don't know just to get rid of them. And, I mean, I really don't know what to do. Like I have so many pictures. Like, what do you do with that, you know? I guess I just need to go through each picture by picture and decide which ones, like, mean something to me and which ones don't. I mean, there's tons of pictures in there, honestly, that were, like, my mom's and my parents. I have no clue who the people are in the pictures, you know what I mean? And my mom and dad aren't even in the pictures. So it's like, maybe not keep those, but... Does anybody have any suggestions for what you do with pictures, like when you have a mass amount of pictures? I guess I could scan them into something, you know, and put, I mean, but that would take me literally hours to put on, like, a disc. But I don't want to do that either, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going to sit at a computer or just go through the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that. But, I don't know, maybe that's one thing that I will keep and just... need to have another day like I was feeling the other day where I could just, like, throw stuff away and there's, like, no emotional attachment to it whatsoever. The problem is that the less and less boxes I have to go through, the more emotional the stuff is, because the stuff I've kept is the stuff that's emotional. It's not, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's... I don't know, like the Christmas ornaments, I just need to, like my mom, like going through her clothes and stuff was so hard, because like certain outfits would remind, like I had given them to her, they would like remind me of something, but honest to God, like I don't ever think, like, God, I wish I had that, you know what I mean? In fact, the stuff that I've thrown away in just the last week, like I haven't once thought since I put it in the trash bag, like, oh, don't throw that out or whatever. Let's see who's texting me. Oh, man. Okay, it just kind of shut off while I was reading that, so I apologize. But anyway, enough talk about the basement. Who cares about the basement? We don't care about the basement, but guess what you will be getting? You will be getting a basement tour once it's cleaned out, and I'm excited about that. Getting thin, cleaning out the basement. Getting it all done. Getting it all done. Oh, man. Has anybody seen The Christmas Prince on Netflix? I was looking through for recommendations, and it's like, there's like a section on, please don't turn off right at the beginning. There's like a section on Netflix. It's called like "'Tis the Season to Netflix" or something like that. And like one of the movies they recommend is called The Christmas Prince, and I don't know anything about it, but has anybody heard of it? Is it any good? Is it stupid? Do we care? Do we want to see it? Oh my gosh. "'Tis the season to Netflix." I love when people have like no decorations in their house whatsoever, but then they just have like a red or a green light on their door. I kind of live for that. Oh my gosh. I brought my Christmas tree. More basement talk. I did bring my Christmas tree up though, and the ornaments today. Ornaments that Alex and I've used, and the ornaments that my aunt gave me. So I'm gonna try to put the tree up tomorrow. I was gonna put it up today, and I was like, I just needed to get out of the house. I was like, I've been in this basement. I've been stuck. I need to get out of this house for a while and go listen to my audiobook or vlog or do something. So yeah. Alex hasn't texted me, so he must have fallen asleep. That was actually Mel from the book club, and she was saying that people seemed to be confused in the comments in my video about whether or not we are reading. They were like saying like, oh, we should read Anne Rule. Okay, so we are reading Anne Rule, the first book of 2019. The January 2019 book is The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, and it's about Ted Bundy. So who she apparently used to work with, and that's like what the book is about. And then she had correspondence with him when he was in prison. So if you would like to read it with us, read it with us. We're going to start at January 1st, and that'll be really exciting. And then the last book that we're reading for the year is Holidays on Ice by David Sedaris, which I'm actually really excited about listening to. I find his humor very dark, but very relatable. And I love his sister, and I think she's just absolutely hilarious. And you know, and it makes you kind of wonder like what kind of like, I don't know, I find that people that are very funny sometimes come from troubled backgrounds, because I think to some degree they make humor like as a defense. So early into the video, and I was messing with it because it's like, okay, got the sticky stuff on me. But like, I think like comedians, I think like people that are really, really, truly funny are sometimes the ones that have had the most trouble like past, because sometimes I think they use humor as a defense against all of that stuff. I don't know, what do you guys think? I was trying to think of some Christmas stories to tell on here. I can't really remember any. One year my dad, he went to some auction or something, and he he bid on this visit from Santa Claus. I'm like, this camera keeps on like slipping way down, and I'm like trying to move it, but I don't want it to shut off again. My hand's sticky again. Anyway, he bid on, must have been, I think this was the year after my parents got separated, because I was still young, but I remember my dad didn't live there at the time. And he bid on this like Santa Claus to come like visit your house, like do it like a, you know, like a personal like visit to your house. And I was really sick, and I remember because like my dad came over and he said, oh my God, I have a surprise for you, and like Santa Claus contacted me and he's coming over to visit. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So like they put me on the couch in the living room, and they had me like all ready and stuff, and I was like in my little pajamas, and Santa came in, and it was basically like seeing Santa at the and like I think brought me like a present or something. Like it was like basically like seeing Santa at the mall, which by the way, when we were at the mall today, if you live in Indianapolis, the Keystone at the Crossing Santa Claus, I mean, it looks identical to Santa Claus. I could not believe it. One of the realest looking Santa Clauses I've ever seen. But anyway, and the line there was really short. There was like no line at all. I remember when I was growing up as a kid, the line to see Santa Claus was like forever long. Do you remember that? I mean, it's just like you couldn't even, and like in movies they would show it and stuff, and it just like took forever and ever and ever to see Santa Claus. But anyway, so my dad got this Santa Claus to come over to the house, and I remember I was really sick, and I don't remember what he said and stuff, but he was like, yeah, probably asked me what I wanted for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And so when Santa left, I like ran to the window, and they were like trying to keep me from the window, but I was like, I want to see him leave, I want to see him leave. And he got like in a Jeep. And I remember saying to my dad, why does Santa drive a Jeep? Why isn't he in a sleigh? I was like real upset about it. And my dad like made up some whole story about how the reindeer like have to conserve their energy, and they can only like, you know, like go out one time a year, and so the other times like he has to use this Jeep and stuff. And I would tell like my friends, I'd be like, Santa drives a Jeep, did you know that? And also like to keep me believing for a long time, like even though I saw my mom take the presents down, like I still like wanted to convince myself that that wasn't, like that maybe Santa still came and left some presents, you know? I think very much, like especially growing up in an alcoholic home, like I wanted to believe in some magic in the world, you know? And I think honestly that probably is why today, like I believe in aliens and UFOs and all kinds of stuff. Like I'm pretty open to believing in anything, because I would like to think that there's a lot of magic out there in the world still, you know? Well, I'll tell that part in a second, but, or I'll not tell that part, but I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, so I said to my dad one year, because he was like, you were a smart kid, like you would always like ask like the strangest questions. I'd be like, Dad, there's no way that like Santa Claus can get down, you know, these chimneys, like these chimneys are too small or whatever. I got up like in the I got up like in the fireplace and like looked to see, and I was like, there's no way Santa Claus can get down there. And how does he get into houses? And a lot of houses and a lot of apartments don't have fireplaces, and so what does he do? And my dad said, well, you know, it's kind of like you know, like microwaves, like the energy in microwaves, or like, you know, in TV sets and things like that. And he just kind of like goes in through the house through that, and like appears and disappears, appears and disappears, and he uses kind of like this electric energy kind of thing. And that's how my dad got me believing for, you know, a lot longer that in Santa Claus. But I think, you know, like part of, I mean, I've always, like when I was like as long as I can remember, always believed in like Loch Ness Monster, you know, Santa Claus when I was a kid, the Easter Bunny, and, you know, as I get older, definitely UFOs and aliens and conspiracy theories, and that's why I love that show, Coast to Coast AM, and on and on and on, you know. And it's like psychics and mediums, and I think to some degree it's like, I think when you grow up with a lot of hard reality, and you really see like what the world really is like from a young age. It's kind of like, you know, when like people say like, you know, they saw things they never should have seen at that age, or they grew up like a lot quicker than they should have. You know, when you have an alcoholic mother and you're putting her to bed, you're seeing the world at 8 years old a lot. You're seeing a lot that you shouldn't be seeing, you know what I mean? And I think looking back, that was why my mom really had a hard time, like, kind of coming to terms with some of those things, because, I mean, she knew that that's how I had been raised, and it wasn't like, and, you know, the thing is I talk about it on here, and it's like it wasn't like that was, like, every night, you know, that was the case. I mean, it would be randomly, but enough that I remembered it, you know, that, you know, she'd have one leg on the floor and one leg in the bed, and, you know, I would take her robe off for her or whatever, you know, or, you know, turn off the lights, make sure the cigarettes were out, you know, clean up, take the glasses downstairs, you know, stuff like, I mean, what little kid does that, you know? And, you know, if my mom was, like, raging when she was drinking, because sometimes she did, she was either, like, she just either got kind of zombified, or she would be like raging or very sad. And a lot, it was like a mix between like raging and being sad. Like it would kind of come in and go out, you know. And I also think that's a lot of the mental health stuff too, combined with the you know, I think like my escape was books, movies, you know, ideas that the world isn't so small. The world isn't just me having to take care of my mom, you know? And also like my dad would ask a lot of questions about stuff, but like I would lie to my dad. Like I would never tell my dad how bad it really was. Like I never did. And like I remember when I was older, like after I gotten sober, we had a conversation, and I was like, it was after my mom got sober, and I was saying something about my mom and I, like, you know, and her drinking when I was growing up and stuff. And like my dad knew that my mom had a drinking problem. I mean, he knew that, but like I don't think he ever knew that it was like as bad as it was. Or I think that he had convinced himself that it was like on the weekends that I wasn't there. Because I would call her a lot of times when I was like with my dad, and she would just be like completely tanked. And then like the next day, like she would just like, we would be like talking, and she would just like hang up the phone. Or just not be like responsive on the phone. And then like the next day, she would kind of remember it. And so she would just apologize, you know, profusely for it. And be like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, you know. And so, I mean, he had to have had, like, some idea of what it was like, but at the same time, I don't think he really knew, how bad it was. Like, I never told him, like, I had to put mom to bed, or this, or that, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't tell him that stuff. I don't know. And I think that because he co-parented with her so closely, and they would like go to all the teacher meetings, and anytime something would happen like that had to be dealt with in school or whatever, or a behavioral thing, like where they had to, you know, had to be disciplined or whatever, that was always like a joint thing that happened together. And so I think he always saw her from I mean, she took me to everything. She took me to all my tennis stuff. She took me to all, you know, anything that I did. My mom was the one that took me there. And my dad would show up for the stuff, you know, but like the games and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's not true. The one thing that my dad did take me to was hockey. I don't know if you've watched my vlog for a long time, you'll know, but I played hockey when I was a little kid, like one season, and my dad had to like get me up at like ridiculous. He'd come over and pick me up at like 5 o'clock on Saturday mornings or something like that to get to the ice rink. It was like at 6, and he tells this story to this day about like, you know, we had to like go buy this whole uniform and stuff, and I'm at the time like really young, and we had to like have like, you know, like a jock strap combination cup kind of thing, and I'm like, Dad, I don't know what this is for, why do I have to wear it? And he was like, just shut up and put it on. And I like wore it over my long underwear. Like I'd have like my, you know, like a long underwear underneath my hockey outfit, and I would put like my long underwear on, then like that thing, like I didn't even know, you know. And so, but yeah, he got up and took me to all that kind of stuff, and it's so weird. I don't know why I just remembered this. One of the things that my dad, we would do a lot was, like in the winter, because my dad's a huge skier. My mom was not, but like my stepmom was a huge skier too. And so in Indiana, there's like not a lot of skiing, but there's like some small places. And then there's also in Michigan, there's like Boyne Mountain, which we used to go to. We would go there for like a 4-day weekend or something. Like he and a friend of his, like he had this friend that had a son that was my age, and like they would take us out for like a Thursday and a Friday, and then we would go up to Boyne, Michigan for like a weekend, and we would like, you know, get like a cabin and or like a condo or something, and it would always be in like one of those places that had those pools that were hot in the winter. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you would, I feel like I did talk about this on here not too long ago, but where you would like run and like jump in the snow, and then you would jump in like the pool. It was like an actual pool, but it was like heated. You know what I'm talking? It wasn't just like a hot tub. It was like heated pool. It was so much fun. Oh my God. So we would do that, and but like I can remember my dad would come and like pick me up and like a friend, and then we would go to like, there was one at the time called Ski World that was in Indiana, and it was like in southern Indiana, and they would like have a lot of man-made snow, so it would be like very icy and stuff. But we would do that, and we would go for the day, and like he would come and pick me up with my friend, and like we would leave at like 7 in the morning on like a Saturday, and we would come back at like, we would ski until like, it was like, we would night ski. Oh my God, I loved to night ski back in the day. We would ski until it was like closed, and then we would come back at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. I remember it was so fun. And I was a big skier growing up. Like we used to go out and ski a lot in Colorado and Park City, Utah. And one of my dad and my mom's actual, like when they were together, they were a good friend of theirs, but really stayed being a good friend of my dad's and my stepmom's later. She and her husband they live in Oak Park, Illinois. But they had a place on the side of the mountain in Park City. It was unbelievable. And so we would go there and we would stay in the winter. And but anyway, I would do all of these like skiing contests, and I have like little medals in the basement and stuff from when I was like, I would ski and, you know, do the moguls and all that kind of stuff. I haven't been skiing in forever. Alex and I kind of actually talked about maybe doing that this winter, like getting another couple and going skiing. I think it'd be kind of fun. I'd like to get on some skis again and try it, you know, but it's been forever. So yeah, what was I talking about before the Santa Claus stuff? Yeah. But I do think, like, when you grow up in, like, an alcoholic home, you know, or abusive home, I'm sure is similar. And I do believe that growing up in an addicted home is very similar to, you know, I mean, it is a form of abuse and neglect. And as horrible as it is, I will say this, I was never beaten, you know, and I can't imagine. I just really honestly can't. So, I feel so deeply for people that grew up in that environment. And when I talk about my mom raging, I mean screaming, but that was about it. And, but I think you do find, you know, like, I think you just don't want to think that the world is that, you know? And I don't even think really like it's a conscious thought. Like, I don't think you think to yourself like, oh, I don't want the world to be this way. It can't be so dark and desolate. I think actually two things happen. One, I think you either become kind of like this adult that like just is very dreamy and creative and kind of lives in the stars and believes in everything, which is me. Or I think you become very cynical about the world, and very mistrusting. And, you know, I mean, I think like whenever I say this, people are always like, that's an asset though. I don't know that it is an asset because it burns me in the ass time and time again, but I'm very trusting of people. Like, I'm extremely, extremely, extremely trusting of people, right? Like, you know, I'll meet people and just like have super deep conversations with them, like right out of the gate, you know. And it's like one of the things is like, and I think a lot of that too comes from being in recovery, because like, you know, you can meet somebody in a meeting and like go have coffee with them and like right away, because you guys are sharing some really deep shit about yourselves, you know. Like, that was something that was hard for Alex to grasp when we first got together. He would overhear like phone calls of mine, right? And I'd be talking to a friend and I'm like, let's just make something up. And, you know, like a friend of mine would be talking to me on the phone about like going through a divorce, and she would be like, you know, and this would be like a friend that I had just met like a week before, right? And he'd be like, I can't believe you guys have such like deep conversations and you've known each other for like a week. And I was like, you don't have conversations like that with your friends? And he's like, not with friends that I've known for a week, not even friends I've known for a year sometimes, you know? And so like the quickness of the friendships, well, I think it's a recovery thing, but I also think it's just kind of how I'm built a little bit, that I've always been very, very trusting of people. And I believe that, you know, like by and large, people are good at heart. I really believe that. And then I get burned. And then and then I meet somebody else and I believe that. And then I get burned. And I get burned time and time again, you know? And it's like, at some point, I have to think to myself, you know, maybe stop putting all of this out there, but like, or approaching relationships the same way. But I don't want to not meet new people and not have new, you know, relationships like that, because I don't know that the next person that I'm going to meet isn't going to be the greatest friend that I've ever had in my entire life. You know what I mean? I will say, interestingly enough, though, like with Tanya, like that is definitely a friendship that is kind of, I mean, we were very close, like right out, you know, like right from the start. I wasn't going to say right out of the gate again, but we were really close right from the start. But I think, like, that being said, there's a lot of things, like today, like she was saying somebody the other day, she was like, there are things that Peter knows about me that my husband doesn't even know, you know what I mean? And vice versa, with Alex and I, but at the same time, and that's just because 22 years of friendship and sharing shit with each other, that is like on another level, you know? But that wasn't, like, that didn't happen overnight. And, I almost kind of sometimes wonder if the longevity of our relationship isn't as a result of, us slowly sharing that stuff over time. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't something that just, like, boom, happened, and we were, like, just sharing all this, like, really deep stuff with each other. I mean, we did, like, as far as, like, sobriety stuff, like, talking about being sober and whatever, but it wasn't, like, let's talk about our childhood 101. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that for a couple years. And still, you know, like, today, I mean, it just blows my mind that, like, I'll share something with her and she'll be like, you've never told me that before. And I'm like, seriously? And she's like, you've never shared that with me before. Or, like, vice versa, I'll share that with her, something like about my childhood, you know, and she'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know that, you know? Should we use Johnny? I haven't used Johnny, the chapstick, in quite some time. Speaking of aliens. You think we'll ever see aliens in our lifetime? Like, do you think, like, legit, okay, I don't mean, like, people claim to have seen them, or, like, footage of something that might be, you know, that's on a YouTube video. Oh my God, I love this stuff so much. I mean, like, do you think, I want a little bit more. Do you think, it's so funny that it's the brains, don't you think that's so funny? It's such a cute concept. If you want like a really fun Christmas present, Hot Topic in the makeup area. They have like a lot of fun kind of makeup stuff at Hot Topic. I was real impressed with their makeup little area, their beauty area. It's super, not chapstick, but it's super like, it's like, greasy. But do you think, like, true story, like, in our lifetime, like, aliens will ever just, like, land on, you know, I don't know, the White House lawn, and, you know what I mean, it'll be, like, on the news, like, aliens from Galaxy 67259. Do you think that'll ever happen in our lifetime? Like, the sad thing is, like, the older you get, I mean, I don't think everybody's like this, but, you know, I think the sad thing is, like, when you start to realize that it's like, if that was going to happen, it probably would have happened by now. Or if, like, there was going to be, you know, conclusive evidence that, like, Loch Ness Monster existed, it probably would have happened by now. Or, you know what I mean, like, if there were really mediums that truly did speak to the dead, that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, they would be solving mysteries and murders left and right. And I know some of them have worked with the police and things like that, but it would be conclusive evidence, you know what I mean? Like, that you would, like, see on a talk show, like 2020 or something, or a news program, like. So it's like, as you get older and you look at that stuff and you, like, really want to believe it. Like, I really want to believe. Like, I want to believe, you know? But at the same time, it's like, don't you think we kind of have some conclusive evidence at this point? Like, not questionable, okay? Like, not questionable at all. It's like, you know, when I watch Ancient Aliens, and, like, I remember watching the very first episode, and they had found these things. I think they found them in the Amazon, or they found, like, something, like, in Egypt, and then something in the Amazon, and they were very similar. And they were, like, these things that looked like bullets, but they were, like, they were, like, planes, right? But at the same time, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, it could so be a bird, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been a bird that existed at that time that we just don't have today, you know what I mean? Like, that looked like a plane, and who knows? It could have been some bird they worshipped or something, you know? And I don't know. It's like, the older I get, the more I become a skeptic about things, and I don't want to. Like, I don't want my world to close in like that. I want my world to stay, you know, large and open, and I want to believe in things, you know? But I don't know, it's hard. Like, the older you get, you're just kind of like, well, I mean, maybe there really isn't anything to it, you know? Which I guess is kind of sad, really. I'd be interested to know if there are like, how many of you down there, how many of you out there, write in the comment section below, like down there, you know, like, what do you believe in? Like, are there, you know, conspiracy theories that you believe in? Do you believe in shadow people? Do you believe in fairies? Do you believe in Bigfoot? Do you believe in, you know, aliens? Do you believe in Loch Ness Monster? Like, what do you believe in? You know, I'd like to know. And then, you know, it's like, there have been some books that are like, or movies and things, or documentaries that have been done, like Whitley Strieber, you know. I was watching something not too long ago where it was like, I can't remember what it was. It was some documentary about like UFOs, and they were talking about, like, they always have like, oh my god, the battery's gonna die. I can't believe the battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna have to charge it and then come back out. But they were talking about like how, like, you know, they always have like army veterans or like military people in it that said that they like have witnessed it, and then it's like, and then they'll show like the UFOs, but then they'll say like the UFOs were like being manned by, you know, like so-and-so or whatever, and like the military was like crafting them. And so like, was it the UFO, like was the military making them, or was it like really aliens from, you know, nowhere? So anyway, I'll be back. It's gonna stop in just a second anyway, and the battery's about dead, so I'll charge it and then I'll be back, okay? It's going to stop. Hello, I'm back. Do you remember that one day that I was vlogging and I fell asleep and I woke up and it was the morning, and so I finished my vlog in the morning? It's kind of like that today. That was a funny actually vlog. That was a funny actually vlog. That vlog was actually really funny. And I remember that day because I got so much done that day because I got up really early. Which you might be asking yourself, then, Peter, why don't you just get up early every day? I don't know, because I don't like to. I like to be a night owl. Anyway, I went home last night, and Alex had moved from the bed to downstairs, and he was watching some TV show. And he was like, I'm going to be up in like a half an hour. I'm going to go to bed early. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to lay down for a little bit. And so we sat there and we talked for just a little bit, and I went upstairs and I laid down. I don't know, I was like in bed and asleep. What is going on with my eye? I was like in bed and asleep by like, it wasn't even 10:30, it was before that. And I didn't set my alarm, and Alex came upstairs and he goes, did you set your alarm? And I said no, because I didn't want to wake you up. And he said, well, just make sure you don't oversleep because you've got your training in the morning, and you said you still have to finish your vlog. And I said, I won't. And I was like holding on to my phone. I don't know why. And so I woke up and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was so cozy in our bed. Do you ever have those moments where you're like, I just literally cannot move. I don't want to get out of bed. And so I like looked at my phone and I was like, it was like 2 something, like 2:05 or something. 2:07, I don't know. And I was like, I just want to lay here for a couple more minutes. And so like, I just was like, I'll lay here for just a couple more minutes. And then I woke up and it's 5:30. Good morning, how are you? So I'm gonna vlog for a little bit longer, and then, but you know, the thing is, now I'm wide awake because I've been sleeping all night long, and I brought water with me, and I forgot that I have this bottle of water with me, so, a little bottle of water. So now, I am wide awake. And I was just looking through this, we get this magazine in the mail, it's like this free magazine, you know, that has coupons and stuff in it, it's called Reach. And, I don't know if it's just like a local thing or if people get that in every town, I don't know. But anyway, it had like all of these like coupons for different Christmas shows here. Like there's this dinner theater that's real well known in Indianapolis called Beef and Boards, and they're doing Elf right now. And I thought, oh, that would be so fun to go see. Because I've never seen the movie either, you know. And so I was thinking about looking into tickets to see how much that would be for Alex and I to go. And then so I might surprise him, and we might do that next Sunday. I might take him on a little date next Sunday to that. Or there's Christmas at the zoo, which I think would be really fun to do. Because it's supposed to be really pretty with all the lights and stuff. And then there's also this, the Historical Society is doing something with like this tour of Christmas trees that are decorated, which I would love to go do that too. And then there's one other thing that was in there. What was it? Oh, the Yuletide celebration. But Alex doesn't love that kind of Christmas music. He just, like, traditional American Christmas music, because that's not what he knows as Christmas. So Yuletide celebration is this big deal, and it's at downtown on the Circle. It's at this theater on the Circle. But I could look into tickets to that too. That might be kind of fun to go see. So I was gonna look at a couple different things and yeah, see, maybe we could do one of those, or, you know, thought that might be kind of fun. And that's about it. Somebody said in my vlog last night, they said something about, Peter, you're the hardest working YouTuber out there, and I really appreciate it, or something. And it really meant a lot to me because, you know, I make these videos because I love to make videos, you know. And I'm not saying that making some money off of it isn't nice as well, but at the same time, it's like, I spend a lot of time making videos just because I love, you know, coming up with ideas, and, you know, and it's like, let's just be for real, most of my channels, I don't make any kind of money on it, so, you know, and I have so much fun doing this, and it was really nice that, like, that's not a comment I get very often, you know, is that, like, you know, you spend a lot of time making videos and stuff, and I don't know, it just was kind of nice, that somebody noticed that. So I don't know who you are, but thank you. I don't do it for pats on the back, honestly, but I do it so that people enjoy it, so that, you know, people laugh a little bit, or people watch my, you know, Peterisms videos and they relate to it and they go, oh God, this like really helped me, or, you know, and the BookTube's, I think, probably my most selfish channel, because I just get to talk about books, which is like my passion of life, you know, and then this is, just as therapeutic for me, you know, as I hope it is interesting for you sometimes to listen to, and, I have a lot of fun with YouTube, you know, I'm at a point where I just can't even imagine what my life would look like if I just walked away from it tomorrow and stopped doing videos, you know? I really can't. And I don't think about it, so I mean, like, that's not, like, even in the, you know, that's not even. People ask a lot in Q&As, like, whenever we're gonna do a Q&A together, Alex and I, they always ask, like, you know, like, what does Alex think about, you know, this, or what does Alex think about that, or, you know, you spending a lot of time making videos, or, I mean, my husband is, like, 100% supportive of me doing videos. He knows it makes me happy, and I mean, it's interesting that, you know, like, one of the criticisms I get from my haters, especially on this channel, is that people will say, imagine driving around all night long when you could be at home with your husband. Well, my husband's asleep right now, so whether I was there or not wouldn't really affect, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not there, or he's asleep and I'm not there, so it's not like we're spending time together while he's asleep. My husband doesn't care, and I don't know about other people's marriages or relationships that they pass judgment on that. But when you're in a trusting relationship where you love the other person and you want them to be happy, you know, it's just like my husband going to music festivals out of town. If I don't want to go, am I supposed to tell my husband that he can't go? You know? No, I trust my husband, and I want him to have fun. And so, I mean, I think the people that pass judgment on that are really, saying more about their own relationships and other. It's always interesting to me whenever like somebody says that. I'm like, well, what kind of relationship are you in, you know? And the other thing that's interesting about that is, you know, like, especially from a woman's point of view, because I've had so many friends of mine in marriages, you know, not good ones, and where they'll say, like, they'll complain that, like, let's say if it's 9 o'clock at night and they're watching TV, and their husbands will come in the room and turn off the TV and go, come on, it's time to go to bed. What kind of marriage is that, like, honestly, you know? And they'll be like, and they'll bitch and complain about it for years and years and years, you know? And I'm like, why don't you just say, no, I'm not done watching that show yet. I want to stay up a little bit longer. Oh, no, I would never say that to my husband. Well, why would you not say that to your husband? You know, like, I don't understand that. And I think that one of the things that marriage counseling has really, really helped is Alex and I, you know, like, being able to communicate with each other and understand each other. And one of all of the channels, the one channel he is probably the most supportive of is this one. I mean, he's supportive of all of them, but the one that he asks about, like the one that he'll say, did you finish your vlog? Or, you know, like, hey, what did you talk about in your vlog tonight? Or whatever is this. I mean, he knows how much this channel means to me. And I think that, you know, it's important to support each other's endeavors. But I also try to mix it up, too. It's like, you know, on here. That's why, like, earlier when he was watching TV, I was, like, vlogging and... I guess I think that, like, one of the reasons why it's interesting to me is that when my marriage looked the way on the outside to everybody, that I think that we judge marriages by, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, going to bed together each night with each other, and like, if Alex was going out of town, I always went with him, and whatever he did, I did. Whatever I did, he did. That was probably the sickest our relationship was. That didn't work for us, you know? And the back windshield is so dirty. I came outside and it was like, my windows were so frosted over, frozen over. It was freezing outside. But anyway, and I remember, like, years and years and years ago, like, my first counselor out of treatment, and I was dating this guy, and I would say to him, like, you know, like, we're just always together all the time, and blah, 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 blah. Don't you think that's, like, a perfect relationship? And I remember he one time looked at me and he goes, no, I don't think that's a perfect relationship at all. And I said, well, why not? And he said, I think a perfect relationship is where you have two individual people, and you have one over here and you have one over here, and their lives intersect in the middle. But they have to have their own independent lives that they share with each other, you know? He said, I think that's a perfect relationship. And I think that's what Alex and I have right now, you know? What's interesting about YouTube is when you understand your haters better than they understand themselves. So, you know, it's like, if I don't say anything, they criticize. If I say something, they say you're defending it, you know? And so it's like, you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't. So what, you know what you do to win? You just don't give a shit is what you do. You just say what you want to say. And see, here's another one, lights at the Brickyard through the 30th. I think that would be so pretty. I really, to be honest with you, want to just call in tomorrow and not go to my trainer. When I signed up, I asked him, I said, if I at the last minute want to, like, just not show up one day, he was like, Peter, I really don't care. He was like, I can just get you in some other day during the week, or he was like, or I'll just charge you and you won't use that session that week. And he was like, but just let me know, like, at least like a half an hour in advance. I was like, okay. But then I'm like, why do you not want to go tomorrow? And I don't really have any good reason for why I don't want to go tomorrow, except for that, God, people at Starbucks are already up. Except for that, I just know that it's like I said I was going to get up early and all kinds of shit. I mean, I could probably just stay up now is the thing, you know? And just read or something. I was sleeping so well. Oh my God. But like, do you ever wake up and then you're up? And look, I have my water because I like went downstairs and started chugging all my cold water. PB was so burrowed underneath the covers when I left, I couldn't even find him. Oh. Alex was watching this new series last night. He said it's really good. And it's called Baby. Have you heard of this? That's what he was watching before he went downstairs. I said, did you watch Puddin' or Dumpling yet? And he said, no, I'm gonna save it. And I said, save it for what? He said, I don't know, I'm just gonna save it. I said, okay. So he was watching this show called Baby. I don't know anything about it. He said it's in Italian, and I said, are you watching it in Italian or are you watching it in English? And he said, I'm watching it in English. It has English subtitles or voiceover. He said, but I think I'm going to go back over it and watch it in Italian and practice my Italian. So when Alex was growing up, one of the languages he learned was Italian. So, when he came to the United States, he spoke English, Spanish, and Italian. But he doesn't speak it very often. So, he's like, a couple years ago, I got him this, like, it's sitting next to his bed, that Rosetta Stone. I got him, like, the advanced Italian, because he, like, wanted to practice it a little bit. And, funny, we were over at I've been really practicing my Spanish and stuff and learning like a little bit as we go. I haven't talked a lot about that on here. So anyway, Carlos was giving me a hard time and he was asking me like what I know and all this kind of stuff. Well, one of the things I do know is all of the words to this song called, I think it's pronounced Tiburon. And so he was like playing music on his with his like, what do you call it, DJ karaoke thing. And so I had him play it and he was like, how do you know this song? I was like, just play it. And so he played it and like I was like singing every word and Liliana was like recording she and I singing to it. She was like, how do you know this? I was like, because I tag songs that you guys play over here and then I download them and I listen to them. Half of my music in my iTunes is all like Latino music. How much have I been recording up there? Oh my Lord. So I want to do some Christmas stuff. I don't want Christmas I feel like I'm getting kind of a late start to it this year. Especially with like the books, because I'm so stuck in Harry Potter, and like I'm so close to finishing it. I honestly could have finished it tonight if I would have got my butt up and listened to it. And so I'm kind of mad that I didn't do that. I think I have like 3 hours left or something. It's really, I mean, they're really, really good. They're just long, you know, like Goblet of Fire is good. I will say the one thing about Goblet of Fire that is different than the rest of them is, so far, is that all of the other ones kind of have this mystery theme that like runs through like the whole book. And the theme of like, I mean, there is a mystery in Goblet of Fire. It's kind of like, well, who put Harry into the Goblet of Fire, like his name. But it's not like the other ones. And if you've read them, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I kind of like the other ones when it's kind of like there's some like dark mystery and they're trying to figure it out, and it's not as mysterious as the other ones. Like, it's really about this challenge more, and it's interesting, like, wondering why J.K. Rowling took a spin off at this one. It's really a lot about game, is what it's about. Like, it starts off with the World Quidditch match, and then it goes into this championship thing that they do with all the different schools. Her imagination is like none other. I mean, to tell you, like, it's crazy reading this and just being like, where does she come up with some of this stuff, you know? Just unreal. But I'm ready to get into some of the Christmas books. My neck ache is back. And I was going through that Reach magazine that had all the Christmas stuff in it. And I think I saw, like, there was one for Max and Irma's. There was another one, I don't remember what it was for. But there was like 4 coupons for chicken fingers in there. One was for Popeye's chicken. And I was like, for some reason, looking at all these coupons, I was like, well, he was awfully smiley. That was nice. He was like drinking his coffee and he was like, God loves a smiley person. But I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry for chicken fingers. And like, this is the first time this has happened in a long time. I had to kind of talk myself out of it in my head. Like, for a minute, I was kind of like, screw it, I'm just gonna go get some chicken fingers. And then I was like, you're not doing this again, no. This is what you did last time. You broke being a vegetarian over chicken fingers, and it wasn't worth it, remember? So I was like, I'm not doing that again. It really does help too. Like, I'm gonna try to start eating less and less of the Morningstar stuff, but it really does help when, I mean, if I'm like craving like chicken fingers, there are so many like meat supplements. People keep on asking me to go try this stuff, and they're like, please try this meat supplement. It's like Beyond Burger or something. They're like, you can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at Whole Foods. I have gone to Whole Foods like 3 times. It does not exist at Whole Foods. I've asked them. They're like, we don't carry it. And I've gone to Kroger. I've gone to Fresh Time. I can't find it anywhere here. So I would love to try it. I would love to try it. Everybody's like, please try it. You'll love it so much. I'm like, yes, I know I would love it so much. But I can't find it. Oh, my Lord. I wonder what our Christmas is going to look like this year. I was just thinking, because, like, we'll probably go to Carlos and Liliana's because of the kids. But we usually always do some big dinner. And Jackie is the one that hosts, like, the big Christmas dinner. But Jackie and Ed are going to be out of town this year. And unless Liliana makes a big dinner, or Hungria helps her. But I can't imagine just for us that they'll do that, you know? And I think, like, these 2 brothers that lived here last year, they, like, moved back with one of their wives, and they live, like, in a house or something. These friends of Carlos and Liliana's from, they were actually in my vlog last year at Christmas. They moved back here from Venezuela. So they might come over, because they seem to come over to everything now. Oh my God, Dunkin' Donuts is open. I could go into Dunkin' Donuts right now and get a donut and some coffee, but I won't. I could get just a black coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. That sounds really good. good. Do you know what I am so like, this is so weird why I'm just all of a sudden craving this. Because this is not my favorite thing in the entire world. It's just a cake donut. Is that not so strange? I'm just like craving like a cake donut. I wonder why that is. And ever since I like mentioned that song, now it's stuck in my head. Because at the beginning of it, it goes da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. It's actually this like little, they clip this part of a Sylvester song off. That You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. It's like the beginning of that. They take, okay, it stopped. Anyway. Look, people are going through the Hardee's, getting their breakfast sandwiches this morning. I used to love Hardee's breakfast so much. Hardee's is like Carl's Jr. if you've never been there. And I think it's like the same exact place, just depending on where you live. It's called one thing or the other. And, but they have these Frisco burger breakfast sandwiches that are so delicious. I actually can still get them because you just get the meat taken off of them. And they're still really good with like egg and cheese on them. But it's sourdough bread. Oh, they're so good. And then they have the little round hash browns that I love. Oh my God. Peter, stop talking about it. You want to go through Hardee's. But they have the little round hash browns. Now I want Hardee's breakfast sandwiches. And I did so well yesterday in my diet too. I actually really did good yesterday in my diet. I just ate that brunch and that was it. What other breakfast food do I love? Well, of course, Denny's. When I wasn't a vegetarian, I used to always get the Moons Over my hammy, and I would dip it in ranch or ketchup, and then Alex and I would get loaded fries with bacon on it. Oh my God, it was so good. It's crazy, like this time, like when I was a vegetarian before, like I said, I missed chicken fingers, but this time, I miss sausage and bacon a lot. When I went over to Alex's mom's house, like Alex's mom makes like the greatest chili in the entire world. Oh, we went over to Carlos's, but Alex's mom cooked it there. She makes like the greatest chili in the entire world, except for my mom's chili. And she serves it on rice, which I think is interesting. Do any of you do it out there? So she makes all this chili, like rice and stuff, or, you know, like a big pot of it, and like beans and everything. And then you ladle it over white rice, which I had never before I met Alex had chili on rice, but that's how she makes it. So anyway, it's really good. And so she was like, aren't you gonna have some? And I said no. And Alex was like, Mom, you know Peter's a vegetarian, he can't eat any. And she said, can't you just pick the meat out? And he was like, Mom, that's not how it works. And so she was like, fake crying. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to make you something that, and I was like, it's totally okay. I ended up having like this corn salsa stuff and putting it on the rice, and it was actually pretty good. I think I talked about that on here. But anyway, so Fufu was like, you're a vegetarian? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, how long have you been a vegetarian now? And I said, since a year ago, last August. And he was like, I didn't know that. And I was like, yeah. And I said, I haven't seen you in a year, Fufu. His girlfriend is a vegetarian. He is not. I'd actually kind of be interested to know if, like, culturally, if there are, like, I'm sure it's no different than it is, you know, with people that are originally from the United States. But I kind of would wonder, I wonder how many people that like are Latino and move here from other countries are vegetarian, because it is really like a meat-centered culture. I mean, it really is. Like, meat is really like a main source of every meal. And especially like when you go to Miami and you walk down like this, like Ocean Drive at all these restaurants, they have, I can't remember what it's called. Alex, oh God, his brother does it like a couple times in the summer, but they like cook out all this meat. They'll just get tons of meat, right? And they'll cook all different kinds of, like, you know, different kinds of steak and sausages, and then you just dip it in this sauce, which is called wasikaka, and there's not really, like, his mom, like, makes yuca, but other than, which is, like, kind of like a potato, but other than that, there's, like, not any sides that go with it. You just eat the meat, right, and dip it in the sauce. You don't even have to dip it in that sauce, but, and, like, whenever we would go over to Alex's mom's house, unless she was making arepas, it would always be, like, chicken and rice, or chicken and beans, or chicken and something, you know, or, like, shredded beef, or, it was always beef or chicken centered, you know, there was always meat, like a main, like, big course of meat, you know? So it makes me kind of wonder, like, if it's harder, like, in that culture to be vegetarian. I don't know. I'd be interested to know. The other thing that's interesting is that, at least with Alex's family and, like, the friends that come over and stuff, they're not, like, overeaters, you know? Like, they'll get a plate, and they'll eat a plate, and that's it. Like, they don't, like, go back for, like, second and thirds. But I don't think that's necessarily a cultural thing. I think that's maybe just, like, his family, or... Alex is really the only one that will go back for, like, second and thirds. Like, he'll get, like, 3 bowls of chili. But Alex's mom always teases him. She's like, you always were a big eater, you know? He maintains his body, so... Isn't it weird how much of our world is focused around food? I have that song stuck in my head. I wish I hadn't sang it. This year I'm having, like, a really hard time, like, finding, like, usually, to finding some of the Christmas shows that I want to watch. Like, usually it's not hard. Like, they're on YouTube, or, you know, they're on demand or something like that, or on Netflix. But I'm not finding any of the Christmas shows that I wanted to watch. Netflix, I watched about 10 more minutes of Christmas, whatever it's called. I can't remember, on Netflix. I think I'm about 20 minutes from the end of it. But Netflix has just a shitty, what do you call it, collection of Christmas shows this year. When I was a little kid, oh my God, I would just, like, that is all I would do at Christmas time, is I would just, like, watch one Christmas show after another after another. I loved it. I'm, like, wondering if I'm going to be able to even go back to bed now. I'm, like, wide awake. I mean, I got, like, 7.5 hours of sleep, so it would only make sense. That's more than I usually get most nights. I slept so good. Oh my God, I was so cozy with my dogs. With my dog. Boo and Tucker were down in their house tonight. Tucker and Pee-Pee have been, like, if Alex has to get up really early, we sometimes have them sleep in their house. And they love it. Like, Boo just goes down there by himself anyway and just, like, sleeps. He's so funny. Because we leave the door of their, well, I mean, it's like this big crate, but we have, like, blankets in there and stuff for them. And that's where they eat. Or that's where Boo eats. So we just leave it open, and Boo Bradley goes down there, and he just, like, sits. We'll be like, where's Boo? And I'll go down there, and he'll just be sitting there, like, look like, hey, I'm ready for bed. He's so cute. And, because, like, they'll sleep with us, 4 or 5 nights a week, but when Alex has to get up really early, they'll sleep in their house, because if not, Tucker and Pee-Pee just roam the bed the entire night, and Alex can't get a lot of sleep. And, but, like, if they sleep with us sometimes, like I'll have to go all the way down in the basement, and I'll be like, "Where's Boo?" And like I'll have to go all the way down there, and then I'll be like, "Come on, Boo!" And then he's been asleep, so like he'll real slowly walk out of his crate, and then he just sits there, and he'll just look at me like he waits for me to pick him up, and then I have to pick him up, and he puts his little head over my shoulders, and then I carry him all the way upstairs into the bed. They're so cute. Such good boys. I love my dog so much. I wish we would get a lot of snow. I'm gonna pull in here. Side over here where people are like parked. Let's see. I drove into Zionsville. Look, you can see there's like a little reindeer on the side of the road. Do you see? Over there. Isn't that so pretty? I want to see what the weather's gonna be. What is going on with the light? Hello? Hello, camera. Why is the light doing that? That is so weird. Do you guys check that? Why is it so dark right here? It's so strange. Oh, there. It says it's 19 degrees right now. Oh, it's gonna be like in the 40s. Ooh, and then it gets cold towards Christmas. But no snow coming. No snow. Is that rain? Yeah. It's supposed to rain next weekend. But 23rd, high of 29 degrees. Then the 24th, high of 29 degrees. And then the 25th, doesn't say. It only goes to the 24th. Christmas is on a Tuesday this year. God, that sucks, doesn't it? That's weird. I'm thinking about trying to surprise Alex and maybe going somewhere warm for a couple days after Christmas. What do you guys think? I was thinking about it today, and I was like looking at stuff, and it's like we couldn't stay at, oh, that's so pretty, like the nicest place in the entire world. But then I was like, who really cares, you know, like if you just get away for a couple days, like, and be on the beach. And so I don't know that I want to talk to him about it though, or if I want to surprise him with it if I do it, like as a Christmas present. I asked him what he wants. I said, what do you really want for Christmas this year? If I was going to get you like one really nice thing. And he's like, well, I would love to go on a trip. And I said, okay. He goes, or a Gucci belt. And I'm like, okay. And the thing is like a couple years ago, I got him a Louis Vuitton belt. And he like wears it all the time. He loves it. And he keeps it in the box that he got it in. And, but like he wears it all the time. And so like if I got him a Gucci belt, like I know he would wear it. I would love to have a Gucci belt too, but I really, to be honest with you, I don't want to buy an expensive belt until like I've lost some weight, because I just won't wear it. Because I don't really tuck my shirts into my jeans right now. And but maybe that'll be a treat to myself when I lose some weight. And but I was thinking about it, and I looked online. They're like $400, which I think is outrageous for a belt. But I mean, if it's something that he actually wear, I probably wouldn't get him a whole lot more, if anything else. But I was like, or I could just take that money and we could go on a trip somewhere for like, 4 or 5 days, and he would love that just as much. He was showing me these Gucci fanny packs too that he likes, and this cup is driving me crazy. And to be honest with you, like, and I'm a big fanny pack person, you know that I've talked about that on here a lot. They're ugly. These fanny packs are ugly. And they're like, they start at like $1,200. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. They're like these plastic fanny packs. He was like, these would be perfect for music festivals. I was like, just because they say Gucci on them. And I mean, there are actually like, Patagonia places has 10 times better ones, and they're like $30. But as much as I like those high-end brands and stuff like that, see, I'm really into like the Patagonia and all that kind of stuff, and North Face. So like, to me, like, I would use that stuff just as much as I would use the higher, because I like that stuff too. But Alex, not so much. And Melissa got this vintage Gucci fanny pack. This card just went straight through red. Okay. And she had been looking for it forever. She kind of collects pieces. And so, and it's really cool, but it's obviously, like, I mean, it wouldn't have to be a woman's, but it looks more feminine than a men's, like, if you care about stuff like that, you know? And Alex saw it, and he was, like, obsessed with it. And she had called, like, she was, like, calling places, like, for a year trying to find this bag, and she finally found it. And it wasn't actually too bad. I was kind of surprised. But it's a really, really cool fanny pack. It's very, very cool. Oh, my head. I mean, I understand, like, when people have tons and tons of money, spending money on things like that. And, you know, I think it's nice to save your money and buy people nice things, or buy yourself nice things. I totally understand that, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's whatever, you know? But I'm kind of like I don't care so much about that stuff as much anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't turn it down if somebody bought it for me, or if I, you know, could afford to go buy it on my own, and it was like, I had the money to just go in and buy, like, but like, even the stuff that I see that I like Gucci had a line of bags a couple years ago that they came, I think it was like 2 years ago. I know Jeffree Star like bought some of it and showed it in a video, but it had patches all over. It was like this messenger bag, and it had patches all over. It had like a UFO patch, and then it had like, it was like it looked like a traveling bag, you know, like somebody had traveled everywhere. It was really cool. And like, I like different kind of stuff like that. But then, like I said, like, I'm not somebody that really needs all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just as excited to have that leather messenger bag that I found in the back basement that's dusty, that I'm gonna put patches and buttons on. Like, I think that's cool too, you know? I saw it down there again today because I set it to the side, and I was like, thinking about all these different buttons I want to get. And I have buttons upstairs in my that I collected when I was like back in my like younger days, when I was like hippie-ish, and I would go to like Earth Day festivals, and I would buy all these buttons, you know. And so I think I'm gonna put them on the strap for the bag. I think morning's kind of pretty, honestly. Did you guys watch that documentary yet? God Knows Where I'm At. God Knows Where I Am. About that homeless woman that ends up dying out in the house in the middle of nowhere. I think about that movie a lot. You know, I think about the fear of dying, I think, but then the fear of dying all alone, of of being like by yourself. And they don't really address it in the movie, you know, but she kind of addresses it in her journals a little bit, that she knows like she's not going to make it. Which is interesting because she's literally like right across the street from a house where there are people. I mean, she could have gone over there and gotten help, but she didn't want to because like of her mental health issues. I think she was afraid. I don't know what just made me think of that. It's just kind of like the morning, like, you know, it's just kind of like the dawn is coming up and you can just start to see the sunlight, and it's very gray in Indiana today. What's today's date? Is it the 10th? I was thinking about this. I don't know what made me think about this. Alex and I were watching something. And I used to love this movie. No, Alex and I weren't watching something. We were driving downtown to go to the Pacer game. And right in the middle of the road, when we were driving downtown, was this homeless woman. And she was pushing this cart, this huge cart, you know? And it was like something that you would see in like New York City or Chicago. You don't see a lot of like homeless people like that in Indianapolis. You see homeless people, but not that push like huge carts. You know what I'm talking about? Of all of their stuff. She literally was coming right down the middle of the road. And it reminded me of this movie that I watched way back in the day. I actually own it on DVD. I bought it off of eBay, and I think it's called Stone Soup. And it's with Lucille Ball, and she played this homeless woman. It was like a made-for-TV movie. And I remember I was kind of obsessed with that movie when I was like a little kid. Like I taped it on a VCR tape and like would watch it over and over and over again. Have any of you out there seen this movie? It's really good. If you can find it on like, I don't know, YouTube or something. It's called Stone Soup. I'm almost positive it's called Stone Soup. It's really sad. But it's about this girl, and she's like a reporter. And so she wants to do like an article or like something for the newspaper on homeless people. And so she follows Lucille Ball, and but she goes like undercover and acts like she's a what do you call it? A homeless person when she's not. Imagine what it would be like being homeless in the winter. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like being homeless, period. I think a lot about that, you know, with being an addict and an alcoholic, that it's interesting. Like, I don't know where my life would have ended up had I kept on using. And it's like, you know, at the time that I was like at the end of using, like, I don't really think I had any, like, at that time, like today looking back, I have a really good perception of it. But at that time, I don't think I had any idea, like, really how done my dad and my God, I had no idea I was at the end of the video. But I really had no idea how done my dad and my stepmom were with me. I think what probably would have happened would be that I think my dad would have just like completely cut me off, not helped me or anything. And then I think I would have probably, you know, couch surfed from friend to friend. And then eventually after that lasted about a week, in all honesty, I think I probably would have called my mom and gone to live at my mom's house. And I don't think that my mom would have said no, because I think that she was so deep in her own addiction at that time. And I think she was so needy that she would have loved for me to come and move home. But she was selling her condo, or she was selling her house and moving into a condo, and there was really no place for me to be in that condo. I mean, the condo is small, you know? So, but I think she would have said, you can come and live in the basement. And I've never actually really thought this all the way through. This is interesting. And so I think I probably would have come and lived in my mom's basement, which is, you know, it's still not finished. And I don't know, we would have, shared a bathroom, and then I think eventually, like, my aunt and uncle would have probably gotten involved, and my dad would have probably gotten involved and said, you've got to get him out of there. Like, this is not healthy for you. And so I think I would have, at that point, knowing me, probably at least gone into treatment, because I didn't have really any other options. So I would have been kind of like indirectly forced into treatment. So then I would have got it then, which would have been so much later, you know, or I think I would have just, I don't know, been homeless or something, like, but I can't even really imagine myself that, like, I don't know, it's scary. It's really scary, you know? A friend of mine that I used to work with back in the day, I was actually asking my friend Erin, her husband, because her husband works in addiction too, and he knew him really well. And I said, do you know what happened to him? And he's like, no, I haven't talked to him in years. So he was like, you guys worked pretty close together, didn't you? And I said, yeah. I said, we like started as counselors together, and we both left at the same time, and he went somewhere else. And so he used to always say to people like coming in that were resistant, he would say, whether you come in now or you come in 10 years down the road, you're going to come into the doors of recovery at some point, or you're going to die. So it's your choice. And, you know, it's interesting, like, I think about that, and I mean, I think it's a really good point. And I think a lot about that with me. It's like, well, would I have just come in 3 years down the road? You know, or, you know, what would that have looked like for me? You know, it's pretty terrifying. God, I was so pissed, you know? When I I kind of like finally came to in treatment, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, I have no desire to be here. It's weird, like, the closer that I get to the date, I think about it, like, every day. You know, I'm like 7 days out from the day that I got sober. So I'm like exactly a week. I think yesterday I said Tuesday, but it's actually next Monday is my sobriety birthday. And, I don't know, it's just weird. That last week was not good. I mean, that last week was probably, this week right now going into next Monday was probably the worst week. It's weird sometimes when I think about that week too, you know, it's like I almost kind of feel like I was like preparing to die, like I kind of like to some degree like given up, and was just done, like didn't even realize it really, you know what I mean? I kind of like thrown in the towel, but I didn't really even realize it, and that's pretty scary when I think about that. So thankful, I'm so thankful. I feel so blessed for my sobriety and, you know, the gift of my life, and all that has gone with it, you know. I think, like, once you tell the story enough, or I've told the story enough, or, you know, it's like we kind of, I think, with TV shows like Intervention and the movies and whatever, it becomes like, at some point, like, you kind of become immune to the story at some point. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I've lived with it now for, you know, almost 24 years, and so it's kind of like, I don't think about it, you know, like, I mean, I do when I'm talking about it on here and stuff like that, but it's not like I go through my entire day and I think about it, like, you know, whatever. But when you think about it in the context that there are still people out there that are, like, suffering, like, literally right this minute, you know, and what that looks like, and the families that are paying the cost, and the kids that are paying the cost, and it's just so tragic, you know? I mean, I think about this sometimes, like, you know, people that are getting really excited for Christmas right now, and I'm talking about Christmas shows and Christmas movies and how much I can't wait for it, and yet sometime this week, somebody will overdose and die, and their family will forever associate this week with the week before Christmas with that, you know? Like, that's the power of this disease that we don't think about very often, you know, that, like, it just demolishes families and friendships and careers and hopes and dreams. It's just, it's devastating. And the one thing that's kind of interesting about the disease of addiction, you know, like, if you approach it from a 12-step point of view, which not everybody has to, but when you do, is like, you know, like, once you go through this cathartic change of, like, finding a higher power, cleaning up the wreckage of your past, giving, you know, looking at your life and who you are, giving back as far as service and things like that, like, as a result of this disease, if you take the suggestions that are offered, it's like, you're really a better person in the long run anyway, you know what I mean? By having gone through and having had this addiction than you would have been had you not. So it's kind of crazy when you look at it that way, you know? It's like, if I had just, you know, graduated from high school, gone to college, and I never struggled with addiction stuff, I'm sure my life would look completely different right now, but, like, I don't know, like, half the life lessons that I've had, that I've learned from, I would never have gone through and learned because of not having been an addict or an alcoholic. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Well, listen, I have no idea how long I have talked now today. Let me know what you guys are doing for this week before Christmas. Well, it's not the week before Christmas, 2 weeks before Christmas. It's the 12th. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. I used to love that song when I was a little kid. I loved the Muppets version of it. Somebody said on here the other day their favorite Christmas movie was the Muppets Christmas Carol. I love that one too. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love that so much. So anyway, you know you are out late vlogging when the school buses are getting to the school. Can I just tell you? Anyway, I'm going to get off here now, and I am going to go home and get a couple hours of sleep before I go to my trainer. I don't know that I'm going to be able to go back to sleep now. I'm kind of up. But anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.